Hi, welcome back to the Insurance-Ready Dietitian. I'm Laura Poland. We are today talking about contracting. This is part 2 of our 3-part series on the 3 C's of working with insurance. And so today we're going to talk all about getting into network. So the last video we did, we talked about getting credentialed and the terms that are involved in getting credentialed. I have a cheat sheet for each of these sections. So I have a link in the description where you can download this cheat sheet with all the insurance lingo of what we're talking about. So feel free to do that as when you get a chance. So today let's talk about contracting. First and foremost, the first thing we need to determine is who should you be reaching out to and getting in network with. So targeting who are the insurance plans that you are seeing the most often in your area. The biggest employers, the biggest insurance plans, those are the ones you probably are going to want to get in network with. And then there are some great tools out there and resources I will also put in the description that tell you for each state what are the top 3 payers of that state. Now, the other thing to consider is what type of population you will be serving. So, for example, a lot of commercial payers will actually have Medicare Advantage plans. They don't cover more than Medicare plans cover, but they do serve that population. And if you are a dietitian who works primarily with diabetics or chronic kidney disease, you might want to consider getting your Medicare number first before you apply to the commercial payers. You want to get in network with Medicare and get that Medicare ID. That generally does not take that long to do. It takes maybe a few weeks, up to a month, depending on their volume. But generally, you can get your Medicare ID pretty quickly. The other thing to consider is, are you able to work with Medicaid population in your state? Does Medicaid cover a dietitian in your state? And if so, what are the coverage? What do they cover? Is it the population that you want to be working with? Then you would want to also get your Medicaid number prior to working with and getting a contract with commercial payers, because what they do is when they give you a contract and they see that you have a Medicare number or a Medicaid number, they will then provide you with a contract that covers Medicare products and Medicaid products, not just their commercial products. So this can also sometimes be an advantage to getting you in a network that might be kind of closed. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So you want to target the local powerhouses, leverage your Medicare Advantage. The other thing you should know is once you're ready and you have those numbers, your Medicare number, your Medicaid number, you go to the insurance website. It generally doesn't take that long to apply, especially if you have that CAQH that we talked about in the last video. You'll provide them with your CAQH number, and it's a very simple process of saying, I want to be in network with you, and I want to work with your populations. So again, as you're going through this, I just want to remind you, you can access the cheat sheet, because as you talk to these payers, they might have different lingo that they use. And if you're ever confused, hopefully that term is there. All right, so let's understand an insurance panel. An insurance panel can be open and it can be closed. So if an insurance panel is open, that means, hey, they need dietitians. They want to contract with dietitians in your area, and they then will accept your application. If a network is closed or the panel is closed for a payer, then the payer has already said that they have adequate dietitians in your area and they don't need you. Now, the thing is, just because you're told it's a closed network, don't walk away. All right. First of all, think about the population you serve. You might be able to send a letter of intent or contact their provider relations and ask if there's any possibility for the network to be open. That from what you see, you get a lot of requests from referrals And, doctors sending you patients that say that otherwise, that you are a needed entity in the area. Sometimes they're closed because there's major hospital systems in your area. Those dietitians may not all be seeing patients, so there still may be a demand. The other thing to talk about, if you do decide to pursue a closed network, is you can do a letter of intent and you can state, hey, my specialty is working with this population, the diabetic population, and I am bilingual. What is it that maybe they don't have enough dietitians that maybe can speak the language of the population in your area? So think about writing a letter or having a letter of intent ready and talk to the provider relations of those closed networks. All right. So if you're ready to take the next step, you want to explore a couple resources that I have for you. I have a blog post on self-funded plans and understanding, once you're even in contract with a company, how sometimes it may or may not cover your services. So that's where it gets confusing. Hey, I'm in network. I signed a contract. You sent me a fully executed contract and told me I was effective on this date. I started billing you, but I'm getting a denial. Sometimes that can happen, and that's because it's a self-funded plan. So we're going to talk about that in my blog post. And also, as always, if this is too overwhelming to you, schedule a clarity call session with me. We will develop an action plan for you. I can do the research for you to determine the plans that are in your area and create an actionable plan for you to do on your own. So if you want to check out more about my clarity call, I'll send a link in the description for that to my website. So stay tuned. I can't wait to talk to you next time about coding and billing, the third C of dealing with insurance companies. See you then.